Today we are going to look at another problem, really interesting. It's called finding a duplicate value in an array. Okay, uh, straightforward, but if you have to do it keeping the space complexity in mind, right? What they are saying is you have to ensure that the space complexity is less than O of n, right? When it comes to something like that, things becomes a little complicated, but we will take a look at that. This algorithm is very important, so let's head right into it. Okay, so the problem here is finding a duplicate value in an array. Okay, so let's go through the question. Given a read-only array of n plus 1 integers, okay, between 1 and n, right? So you will have, in an array, you will have numbers between 1 and n. No number, no integer inside that array will be more than n being the length of the array, right? So, so find, and then once you have such an array, you have to find one number that repeats in linear time, okay, using less than O of n space. Look at this, it should be less than O of n space, traversing the stream sequentially O of 1 times. Okay, so this part is where it becomes a little complicated. If this wasn't there in the question, it would have been pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's take a look at the brute force conventional approach, and then we will look at the most optimal approach. The example that they've given here is the size of this array is 5, right? 5 elements are there. So all the numbers, any of the number inside this shouldn't be more than 5. Okay. So you can see 3, 4, 1, 4, 1. So 4 and 1 are duplicates. Sample output is 1. So they are telling if there are multiple possible answers like the one above, output any one. And in case there are no duplicates, output minus 1. Okay. Fine. So now let's take a look at the brute force approach or the conventional approach. So conventional approach is, let's assume we use a mapping concept. Okay, we have objects and the keys inside the object are going to be these numbers 3, 4, 1, right? And the number of times these numbers occur in the array is going to be the value for that key, right? That's a concept we are going to use. Okay, let's take a look at how it works. Let mapping object is equal to an empty object. Okay, and now let's iterate through the entire list. Okay, so we are getting we are iterating through the entire list. The first thing we have to see is if we have a key inside the mapping object, right? For example, each of the item we take, the first item we'll take is 3. So we'll see if 3 key is present inside or not. If initially it's not present, the value of that would be undefined. So when it is undefined, what we will do is we will create such a key inside the mapping object, and the value is going to be 1 because that's only the first time we are seeing it, right? So we are going to set it to 1. Else what does that mean? That means if it reaches else block, it means that that key is already present in the mapping object, right? So the key is already present in the mapping object. That is the reason why we are reaching the else block. So what will we do? At that point, what does that mean? For example, 3. We have iterated in the first iteration. We put 3 inside the mapping object as a key, and the value of that is 1 because we've encountered it only once. Next, instead of 4, if this number had been 3, so the second iteration we will not get undefined here because the value of 3, the key 3 is 1. So it is reaching the else block. What does that mean? That means this number is a duplicate. So what do we have to do? Do we have to do any kind of a logic further on? No, correct? Because the question says the minute you find a duplicate, you return. If there are multiple possible answers, output any one. The minute you find a duplicate, you return. So what you can do is you can return A of I. And in case there are no duplicates, in case it never enters the else block, you can return -1. Clear? So now let's try running this and see if we're getting the answer. So yeah, compiling your code, it's a success, and final verdict, it's the correct answer. Let's submit it. So on submission, it will run through a lot of test cases, and yes, I've got the correct answer, and I've got 441 out of 450 points. So all the test cases have been a success. Alright. So yes, so this is the conventional approach. Let's look at the optimal approach in the next video. So yeah, thank you guys, and please show your continued support. It really means a lot. Like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you.